Are you still unable to track down a 3000 series card? Are you dying to try Cyberpunk with RTX on? Are people still playing that at this point? Well, have you considered possibly a pre-built? I know, but hear me out. I felt the same way. I mean, I haven't had a pre-built computer since my Dell Dimension, which you can learn about here. Or here. I've never done this one before, so. Today, we're going to take a look at the Skytech Chronos gaming PC equipped with an RTX 3070. And when you break down the cost of the components, I didn't do too bad. This review isn't going to be full of benchmarks and performance numbers. Spoiler alert, it performs exactly as you'd expect with these components. Instead, I'm going to take a look at what you can expect from the packaging and the type of components you would get if you ordered one of these yourself. The kind of catch to this whole thing was that it was listed with the general components you were going to get, but no actual brands or models. So you kind of knew that you were getting this processor, this graphics card, but you didn't know what like motherboard brand you're getting. You didn't know what brand of RAM, things like that. So it was almost like a gamble, a loot box, if you will. This computer was listed on Monoprice on sale for $14.99, but it's been a couple months and it still is $14.99, so I don't think the price is going up anytime soon. I did find a review from someone who listed out the actual components they got, and after doing the math, it came out pretty close to what it would be if you priced it out yourself with individual components. So I decided to take the chance and order it up. Thankfully, Monoprice seems to be close to where I live, so I got this less than 24 hours after ordering it, so that was a nice plus. Now, I know I've committed the worst sin known to PC gaming and bought a pre-built computer, but hear me out. This thing surprised me in a couple ways. The components were good, everything was put together well, I didn't have any issues with the actual functionality of it, and overall, it seems like a good value. So the general specs that were listed for this computer were as follows. A Ryzen 7 3700X, 16 gigs of DDR4 memory at 3600 MHz, an RTX 3070, 650 watt gold rated power supply, and a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. And all of that was $14.99. So the first thing I want to talk about was how it was packaged. It was in a single branded box with good foam to keep it in place, and inside was like that Instapak expanding foam to keep everything secure. It also came in a large bag that kept it scratch free. As soon as I took it out of the box, I was eager to find out exactly what components I got and tally them up to see if I over or underpaid. So the first thing I had to check was the GPU, and indeed it was an RTX 3070, and it was a PNY Accelerate model. I'm not too familiar with it, but it has 3 large fans and a large heatsink, and it looks nice. The motherboard was an ASRock B550. It's a pretty basic board, and it's essentially an upgraded version of the B350 I was running in my old build, so I'm fine with that. The memory was as advertised, 2 sticks of 3600 MHz DDR4 with a total of 16 gigs. The brand was Oli or Oloy, unknown to me, but after some research, it seems like they make memory for other manufacturers and just have their own branded sticks. So far, I've had no issues with this RAM. The SSD was a Western Digital, and I was actually surprised to get a legit brand out of this. The power supply is a Game DS. It's non-modular, but it is 650 watts and gold rated. So far, it's been fine and runs quiet. I tried to find out if this was an off-the-shelf case, but couldn't find this exact model, but it has good airflow and has a mesh front and 4 RGB fans. Overall, I like the case and I'm happy with it. Now let's break down the component cost and see how I did. I pulled all these prices straight from PC Part Picker. I had to estimate in a couple situations, but this should be a pretty close number. The 3700X goes for $329. The ASRock B550 is $100. The memory goes for about $80. The power supply about $90. The case, since I couldn't find an exact model, I just kind of estimated it based on similar cases, and I threw in $80. I feel like that was a conservative number. The SSD is $100. I did factor in the cost of Windows 10 because it did come with it, so I know a lot of people don't factor that in when they build a computer, but I'm going to here just to pad it out. And now that leaves the GPU. That's where it really throws off the whole value of this. If you were able to purchase the GPU at retail price, it'd run you $550. And that would put the total of this just under what I paid had I put it together myself. But if you factor in what this goes for on eBay, you end up in a pretty good spot, especially if you're looking for a full upgrade anyway. Every sold listing for this exact model GPU was $1,000 or more. You also got a very gamer mouse and keyboard. I've actually lost the mouse at this point because it wasn't worth keeping around. The keyboard though isn't half bad, aside from the way it looks. Also included in the box is this folder that has some documentation, has a troubleshooting guide, which is pretty handy if you're not too familiar with what to look for in case something wasn't starting up or performing as expected. It also comes with a maintenance guide that talks about updating your drivers, cleaning out dust, things like that. And then you get this quality control checklist showing you what they went through while building it, all signed off by Sam, I think. Thanks, Sam. You did a good job. When I first powered it on, it fired right up with no issues. I was expecting a bunch of bloatware and outdated drivers, but to my surprise, it did have a stock Windows image that just had the utility to control the RGB for the motherboard. Even more surprising was that Windows was on the 20H2 version and the GPU driver was only a month old. Everything on it runs great, but I did swap out the stock AMD cooler to this tower style with these two Noctua fans due to the noise from the AMD cooler. The temps were fine, but I was not a fan of how loud it got. Speaking of temps, this thing runs nice and cool thanks to all the airflow in this case. The CPU and GPU never get above the upper 70s and it stays pretty quiet the entire time. Enough so that I have it on top of my desk and I'm not bothered by it. The performance is excellent. Everything's blazing fast and I'm able to run Cyberpunk. Hey, I do like that game. On RTX high with everything else on medium at 3440 by 1440. And it stays above 60 FPS in most cases. Benchmarks, it basically doubled the scores of my previous system. I've been running this for a few months now and it's been performing exactly as expected and I've had no issues. I like the fact that it's all off-the-shelf parts with no proprietary components, so it makes upgrades easy down the line. It worked perfectly right out of the box and has continued to do so through hours of gaming and general use. It comes with a decent warranty that honestly I don't feel like I'll be using anytime soon or even at all, but it does give you that little bit of peace of mind. I know buying a pre-built is always frowned upon in the PC community and I was like that too before, but this computer really changed my outlook. The only negative I can really see is the fact that you're at the mercy of whatever parts they have on hand at the time of being built, so you don't really know exactly what you're going to get. If you're looking for an upgrade and don't want to wait until the 4000 series comes out so you can actually buy a 3000 series, then this might not be a bad choice for you, especially if you're looking for a full-blown upgrade. Thanks for watching. It's been way too long since I've posted a video and I'm hoping to change that going forward. Let me know if you'd ever be caught dead with a pre-built PC on your desk, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.